Now, here's something I believe about the Bible, and that is every single human character in the Bible, I believe, is us. Any story you read in the Bible, if you put yourself in the position of being the person in those stories, there will be lessons there for you. And I don't care if it's James, John, Peter, Deborah, Esther, Ruth, David, Samuel, Moses, the heroes. It'll be them. You'll be there. But sad to say, it'll also be Hophni and Phinehas, because we've got some of them in us too. So how are we Hophni and Phinehas, and how are we not Hophni and Phinehas? Well, they were appointed as priests. There were two features. I see you've got a place on your bulletin for notes. This is a two-part sermon. So the first part has two parts, and the second part has three parts, okay? So this is part one of part one. There are two qualifications for a biblical priest. First qualification is that they know and love God. Second qualification is that they know and love humanity. So, little story. The Wednesday before Ash Wednesday, I'm going to talk about Valentine quite a bit this morning because that's where I've been. So that's what I know about. But the Wednesday before Ash Wednesday, we had a service, and it was a community service. And we had a professional musician come in who led worship in this service. And we had music throughout. What he would do is he'd lead us in a praise song, and then it would be followed by a personal testimony from somebody in the community. And we had, I'm not sure how many denominations represented in those testimonies. But what I can tell you about the testimonies is that every single person that gave a testimony talked about a time when they had a personal encounter with God who moved them from darkness to light through that encounter. And in those testimonies, almost, not quite, but almost everyone wept tears of joy for the love and the praise that they wanted to give to God for bringing them from that darkness into the light. They'd had an experience that made it so that they could testify that now they knew God. And they gave it in such a way that it was obvious that they loved God. On that account, every one of those persons was qualified to be a priest. Okay? Hophni and Phinehas, on the other hand, did not know God. They called themselves people of God. They gave sacrifice on behalf of people. They offered ritual prayers. They went through all the motions of being people of God, but they didn't know God, and Scripture says they despised God. What that means is they totally did not take God seriously. On that count, they were not qualified to be priests.